What's up guys? Today is going to be the first C++ tutorial. So, to get started, we need to download something called Visual Studios. What this is going to do is it's going to take in our code and then compile it into machine language so the machine can understand our C++ language. Alrighty. So we go here. Professional 2019, no. Enterprise 2019, no. Community. Alright, so you guys should get a pop-up page and download and save this. And I'm just gonna skip to the part where you have it downloaded already because I already have it on my computer. Alright guys, so you guys should get a Visual Studios pop-up page like this after you have everything set up where you can create a new project, open a local folder, open a project, yada yada yada. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project. Next, we're going to, if you guys get a search bar like this, you want to search for an empty project. Now, you're going to get a bunch of options that is C sharp, C sharp. You don't want to click on any of those. What you want to click on is you want to click on empty project C++ Windows console. Make sure it's this, or else you might not get the right setup. Next, we're gonna do, let's call it episode 1. My voice there cracked. Alrighty, create. Alrighty, now you should get all of this. You're probably like, what? What is all of this? This is confusing. Like, I just want to code. I just want to learn the basics. So, what you first want to do is to build our first program. We're going to go to project. We're going to go to add new item. We're going to go add a C++ file, which is where we're going to store all of our, basically all of our code. And then we can call this main.cpp. Alrighty. So basically here is where you're gonna do all your coding, where everything's gonna happen. This file, this main file, is what's gonna get executed every single time. So let's start off. Every time that we start off with programming, we always have to include like what library we're going to be using, which I'll get into later, but for now, let's just put include IOStream. Make sure it's spelled exactly like this, or else it's not going to work too. Next, we're going to type in using namespace standard. So this is basically saying that we're going to use like the standard language, the standard format for our code. Next, we're going to make a function which is going to execute our code language. I'll get more into detail about all of this later, but for now, just focus on getting all of this. Alrighty. When you have this set up with these curly braces, which make sure you write all of your code inside the curly braces, or else your code is just not going to work. So it should be int main parentheses A lot of times people forget these when they're starting off. I remember I did. Curly braces, include IOStream, using namespace, standard. So our first program we're going to do is basically C out with two arrows pointing towards C out, and then commas and saying hello world. Now what this is going to do is it's going to take this string of this string basically is what it's called. It's a string is basically a word for um like it's a bunch of characters added together, you could call it that. And it's gonna move them into your output, which is your basically your computer screen. Now, every single time we write a line of code, we always put a semicolon. Well, not always, but like almost always, most of the time. So that's the reason I was getting the error. See? Every single time. Your Visual Studios, every single time you do an error, it's going to tell you with red squiggly lines basically saying, hey, you can't do that. Like I expected a curly, or I expected a semicolon. So okie dokie. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to build solution, and we're gonna go to debug and start without debugging, and we should get hello world printed onto the screen, onto the console. And that's our first program. Alright, so last time we got hello world printed onto a console screen. And a console screen is basically where all of our program output is going to be. So here, if we wanted, we could have done cout I am Bob, and we have to make sure every single time before we run our program, we have to make sure that we build it first. So we go to build solution, and this will tell us 1 succeeded, 0 failed, and now we go to start without debugging. And let's see now. Hello world, I am Bob. Now we see we have a problem. This doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing basically because it's all like smushed together. What we can do is we can either put a space right here or either right here, wherever you prefer, and go to build solution, and then go to start without debugging, and then it'll look better. But if you want to put this on a separate line, what we'll do is we'll just put that back to normal. We'll create more arrows and type in end L. Now this stands for end line, which is going to move our string of code, string basically, down to the line below. So now we can write basically haha JK, my name is Todd. Build solution. Oh, there we go. I did not put a semicolon. Always remember to put a semicolon. Start without debugging. See? Now we got 3 separate lines, and we could keep going and keep going with just like write a whole story basically if we wanted to. That's it for this tutorial. I'm probably gonna go over um, either data types or user input on the next tutorial. So make sure you guys stay tuned for it.